Hello, Bl'Artagnan here with Glittering City of Gold, the Sazh mission dungeon Lufenia plus fight. We're bringing a team of Beatrix, Lena, and Golbez. Before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, ring that notification bell, and leave a comment down below with, well, I'll tell you in a little bit what I want you to comment on. We'll get back to you on that. Golbez is actually going to be helping us out quite a bit in this fight. As you can see there, he was able to actually shave these guys despite the enhanced defense they have, even with minimal defense down calls applied. The thing with Golbez, as I've said before, is he has a high damage floor and low damage ceiling. That's it, yeah. And so that's actually going to come in handy. He's going to be basically dealing really pretty strong, consistent damage. Not especially high. Frankly, Len is going to be kind of keeping pace with him damage-wise, which is a little bit silly. Beatrix, too, for that matter, with the off-turn damage and all that. But it's okay. Between the three of them, they'll be pumping out consistent enough damage that we will certainly make turn count. Beatrix is also quite helpful in this stage, with her defense-ignoring follow-up attack and her EX safeguard. You'll be seeing all of these different things coming into play. Lena with her true damage late in the fight. It's all good times. It feels good to be able to use your favorites, and it feels even better when your favorites are good to use. There we go. I actually am enjoying this fight quite a bit, I have to say. The initial run-through of it was a no-turn kind of stomp fest and seemed just not very interactive, but if you do give the bosses turns, they have enough mechanics to keep you interested. Well, I say mechanics, I mean this nasty recast. You have to be prepared for it, you have to be ready for it. And that's the main thing. I mean, they have some attacks that can damage you otherwise, and that's just the nature of the game when you let bosses act. But between that and the Brave Gains and the, frankly, kind of softball orb they gave us, a pretty fun fight. Kind of a choose-your-own-adventure in terms of the difficulty, which I can appreciate and respect. We got this first recast out of the way. So there we go. And in that case, we use Beatrix's Holy Knight Safeguard to tank the first of them. The second one, we're going to need to do something a bit different, because Beatrix's EX is not going to be up frequently enough for that. As luck would have it, we have just the trick that we need for that. Right in our pocket, I'm waiting to reapply our debuff calls until both of them have done their recast. So here we go, with the Golbez BT. Boom. This has two benefits. One, it keeps us safe from that scary recast. And two, it prevents them from gaining Brave when they go into their big Brave game stance thing. Now, this does have the obvious downside that they don't unbreak, so they're still keeping their their damage resistance or whatever, and the battery negation and all that. Lena still does true damage with her LD, so that's great. And it's okay. We'll need to break A in a second, but we'll get there. Kind of annoying we didn't get the refund from Golbez. We actually ended up in an awkward spot earlier. I don't know if you noticed. Golbez got broken because during their when he broke them with the EX at the very beginning of the fight, his LD buff wasn't able to refund him because they were turning off battery. Then A broke him, and that was why his recast was further along charged than B. A big problem with this fight, if you're interacting with the bosses like this, is that their recasts very rarely sync up. It's almost always one of them is going to go, and then the other will go after you've used your mitigation tool. Since they cleanse, they can't be something like a Reno or something. Warrior of Light would work, but, not the whole fight. So we use Beatrix's EX in conjunction with Golbez's BT to circumvent all that scary damage. Now, we're bringing in Zidane. The reason we're bringing in Zidane is tied to what I was talking about, the cadence of how the bosses recasts charge. I was noticing trying to make this fight work. Oh, without Golbez there, we actually took a bit of a hit. I noticed playing this fight out that the recasts would show up a little bit, just a bit too frequently for me to be able to keep them consistently debuffed with the defense down calls, and it would get out of hand. They would with this team, it wasn't able to keep up. So I said to myself, what if I took a character who was able to get us some wiggle room, buy us some space? Like Zidane, with his deletes and his rebreaks and all that. Got a nice BT effect that'll keep us hitting some good damage in the meantime. Into the sky with you. There we go. I gotta say, I'm really loving Lena, and Beatrix too, as a support that deals damage. That is critical in this day and age, I think. As you saw in my last TCC run, you can use a unit like Keistis who doesn't actually deal damage, but if you do, you're gonna have to really make up the difference on the other side of it, because damage requirements are getting steeper. So if you bring a unit who deals like 100,000 damage on their turn, I'm looking to use Sazh, you better be able to make up for that in the other areas. You'll actually notice Zidane has been benefiting from the Kurasame Call on Lena there, which is great because he's been dealing a shit ton of damage. But also kind of awkward because he was supposed to be gone by now. Golbez didn't tag back in, and so they gained a bunch of Brave, and the whole turning them off thing didn't quite go the way I envisioned it. I guess we'll just have to make do. As luck would have it, Golbez is still a pretty darn good Brave Shaver. He does pretty decent damage even when they have elevated defenses, past 50%, Brave damage reduction, all that jazz. We can deal with that. And as you can see, because of all those turn deletes, we had a bunch of extra time to deal extra damage before they were able to charge their next recast and cleanse the debuffs we put on them. We still are riding that Kurasame Call, which is great. We're going to have that at 5 stacks before they're able to recast, so that's even better. That was the reasoning behind the Zidane friend there. Belonging actually to Jai of Dystopia. Lovely admin there, so if you want to join the Dystopia Discord, the link for that is in the description to this video. Give them a visit, say Bl'Art sent you. Unless you're an asshole, in which case, don't tell them about me. Anywho, Golbez BT, keeping us safe. And now, with the double recast up, it's time to go into the burst. Well, first, let's get some free damage. Why the heck not? They're about to cleanse anyway, and we're going to switch to Faris for more defense down. Now, the thing I wanted you to comment on, actually, at the beginning of this video. Normally, when I go into Golbez Burst, I use the Final Fantasy IV boss theme, the Johnny Atma cover of it. But I've been lately thinking maybe I'll switch to this Hyrule Warriors Eclipse of the Moon cover, also by Johnny Atma. So in the comments down below, let me know which of the two you prefer. I know traditionally the theme for this BT is Battle of the Four Fiends, but Johnny has done a cover of that, and I like sourcing all my music through him. He's a righteous dude. So if you can just let me know what your preference is, I'd be eager to hear your feedback and to learn what Golbez music you like best. Now, Twin Moon, there we go. This is going to be fun. I mean, Golbez's BT doesn't have the same kind of overwhelming offensive power that most BTs have, and that's why I think he's kind of a mid-character. But it does have this kind of uniqueness that you can, in an off-damage team like this one, well, I say that Beatrix has off-turn damage, you can fight enemies who otherwise would completely destroy you with their attacks, and just kind of say, whatever, you're not going to hurt us. There's literally nothing you can do to damage us at this point. Take all the turns you want, we don't care. So that's kind of neat. So that is the reason we brought Golbez, even though Beatrix can keep us safe from the recast. I must have let Lena's buff fall off Beatrix. That was kind of sloppy. It's okay. The reason we did that, we're actually okay with that having happened, because Lena continues to deal true damage with Dragon Breath, and that is just tremendous. Look at that, 400,000 this late in the fight on a support. You love to see it. Meanwhile, Golbez continuing to keep us completely safe. We have nothing to fear. Well, we have one thing to fear, which is that, I guess, in theory, we could run out of defense calls during the last 8%, but I don't think that's going to happen. We are unlikely to run out of time. We are doing just fine here. How are you? Reapplying shock. As you can see, these guys are really quite tanky at the tail end of things. Oh, another nice thing about Golbez, I keep forgetting in this fight, is that they get this gimmick after 50% of getting a giant Brave gain after their turns, which can be kind of scary. Presumably, I guess it's to sell Saz's, the crit damage and just made the Brave shaving. But Golbez just says it's 0. It's all of it 0. You're not getting any Brave. I don't care how many times you cleanse. And I'm slow as hell, so it's not like you're going to get enough turns to make good on it. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell you on him. I will say, mediocre. Overall, if I had been using a different BT Plus character, this fight would have been over several turns ago. But it's kind of nice to see the practical applications of the character in action, right? At least he can do something like this, right? That was kind of fun. Dealing as much damage with his LD as Lena does with hers. Damn it. Oh, not exactly. He outdamaged Lena. That's great. That's wonderful. But we stayed safe through that, and that's cool. And the important thing is we got to have fun along the way. That's the important thing. And fun we did have. So there you have it. Golbez, Lena, and Beatrix in the Sazh Mission Dungeon Lufenia Plus. I hope you enjoyed. I sure did. Always fun to bring your favorites through fights. So with all that said, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Adios.